So God says to Paul, no, I won't take it away. My grace is sufficient for you. How wonderful it is to experience the grace of God. Very simply, if we were defining it tonight, is undeserved favor. The unmerited favor of God, that you haven't done anything good enough. I haven't done anything good enough. We don't deserve God's grace. We don't deserve God's favor. If anything, we deserve His wrath, but He gives us His grace and His favor anyway. When I'm dependent on God, some of you could testify, when you've been in times of your life where you're hurting, you've been in times in your life where you don't know where to go or what to do, and now we say, now my only hope is God, so now I turn to Him, and I say, God, you've got to help me. I have no idea what to do. It's in those times that we have experienced this grace and this presence of God that we hadn't experienced before, and we just can't describe it or can't explain it. In our time of dependence, that there's this closeness with God. I was mowing my grass over the weekend, and I had my push mower out, and I was getting along the fence, and I've got a bunch of bushes in the backyard along the fence, and so I'm just kind of going up to the fence and to the bushes and coming back and forth, and so I just tapped the bottom of this bush and keep going, and when I did, a baby bird fell out of the bush. I know. Take it easy. I didn't do it on purpose. A baby bird falls out of the bush, and because, he gets disoriented because of the loud lawnmower and everything, and begins to hop across the yard, and he's trying to fly, but he can't fly yet. And so here he is, but now he has hopped out into the middle of the yard, and he's chirping. His mother now is just kind of swooping down and around the yard, squawking at me, as if I did it on purpose. This baby bird is chirping, and it's a bad situation. He's vulnerable. He's out in the open now. He's unprotected, and he can't fly. He can't get away. And so I felt terrible. I go into my work shed, and I've got these work gloves, and of course they smell like leaves and bushes and shrubs, so I put them on, and I go over there, and I go to pick up the bird, and this little guy, poor guy, he's so scared. He just kind of flips out, and I think his mother's going to, really just, she's mad. But anyway, I finally catch him. He's hopping all around, and I catch him, and I pick, and he tries to bite me, but I've got these gloves on. He's trying to bite me and everything, and just as cute as he could be, and just as scared as he could be. And so I pick him up, and I support him with my hands, and I wrap my hands around him, and he nestles right into the warmth, and I'm talking to him. Hey, it's all right, little fella. You're gonna, how you do, like they can understand you. You're gonna be okay. I'm not going to hurt you. And when he realizes that he's not in danger, he just kind of begins to settle down. And I showed the kids. I didn't let them get close, but I said, look, a little birdie, and we got to go put him back. And so I go over to the bush, and not when the kids were looking because they would get into it later. And I take him back over there, and I set him back in this bush, and knowing I was going to preach this message, I go back to mowing the grass, and God showed me. He said, your grace was sufficient for him. He didn't know. He didn't understand. But you supported him, and you heard him, and you were watching out for him, and you had his best interest. Your grace was sufficient for him. And he said, so my grace is sufficient for you. That when I'm wounded, and when I'm vulnerable, and when you're wounded, and when you're vulnerable, it is in those times where now I am totally dependent on God. I'm out in the open. I need Him more than ever. And this is really when I experience His grace.